Okay, we're in section 9 now. It's the polynomial multiplication. Again, we went through a lot of material. I realize that. It's basically, multiplication. We did a bunch of examples. Certainly some of the stuff might have been confusing to you. For example, I might have talked about the grade school multiplication algorithm that you were taught. It's basically the distributive property of multiplication, right? And it's some wacky things, but the bottom line, it does work out. All right. And that's the way you learn multiplication. You actually learned it, but they never really, I don't think they really mentioned distributive property multiplication when you were doing it, but it is. All right. We went through some examples over here. Sometimes we had a binomial times a trinomial. Sometimes we had a monomial times a binomial, yada, yada, yada. The method, very similar. All right. For each problem that we do. And we'll go through that again. All right. So we did some examples. We did examples in the classroom at the whiteboard. Of course, there's little embedded videos over here if you want to watch those. If they're helpful, we'd recommend that. If they're not helpful, we would recommend not doing that then. You want to do things that are helpful to you, right? So at some point though, you say, I want to try, and you really should be saying this to yourself, that you want an opportunity to try this material. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to go to the whiteboard now, and the notes are going to disappear. I'm going to get my computer out again. Whoops, wrong whiteboard. Give me a second. Let me open it up. Give me a second here. And I got to share a screen with you, right? Okay, you're seeing a whiteboard now. And I just want to recommend to you that you should have done this already, right? It should all be done. And you're just witnessing someone go through it with you to make sure that you understand what was presented to you. So we're in section 9 of the notes now. And we're doing the homework. Number 1. It says multiply and simplify. And what do you see? You see something that looks pretty complicated. And by when I say it looks complicated, I'm not saying it is complicated. I'm just saying it looks complicated. So the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the grouping symbol. And someone says, what is a grouping symbol you're talking about? This is a grouping symbol, and this is a grouping symbol. We need to work on the inside first. All right, we're going to put that down for you. I know a lot of students are anxious. They want to get this over with. And I'm going to say you really shouldn't be that anxious. You want to get this over with. So I'm going to put out what it is. It's minus 2 times this term, and then minus 2 times this term. That's the distributive property of multiplication. What would that give you? Minus 8x plus 10. Let's keep going. I'm still working inside the grouping symbol. And what do I see? I actually see 10 minus 7x. What I do, I combine like terms. I'm going to keep going. 4x squared. Now I'm going to distribute this x, or minus x, across these two terms here. And what would you get? Minus 10x plus 7x squared. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to combine like terms. Well, 4x squared and 7x squared is 11x squared minus 10x. There's not much I can do about that. They're not like terms. That would be my answer. What are we recommending you do? Look at the answer key to make sure that you can agree with that. And I see that in the answer key, and I'm agreeing with it. All right, let me do number 2. And again, the expectation is you've done this already. And you're just simply watching this to reaffirm that you're doing it correctly. So what do you see? Number 2. And I'm going to say, I don't like the way it's written because it's like sort of like a trinomial. I'll write that down for you. Times a binomial. Now, I would much prefer to commute these factors around. And distributive property multiplication. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this x, distribute it across these 3 terms, one at a time. What would that give me? X cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x. And then what would I do? I would take this minus 3 and distribute across these 3 terms. Let's put that down. What does it give you? Minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 15. Now what I'm going to do, combine like terms. So I get x cubed. That's done. I'll underline that for you. And then I got these two guys. That's minus 6x squared now. And I have these two guys are like terms. That's 14x minus 15. Put a box in that. And again, I want to see if I got the right answer. And what I mean by that, I'm looking at the key. And I want to see if the key is the same thing. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. And this is what you should be doing when you're doing homework. Doing the problem, then looking at the key. Let's put 3 down. 2x minus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 5. Well, it's really the same type of problem. It's a multiplication. I'm not going to put the arrows in though. I'm going to take 2x and distribute across those 3 terms. What does it give me? 2x cubed. Now 2x times minus 3x is minus 6x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. I'm going to do something slightly different now. I'm going to do this in not horizontally, but vertically. So what's the next thing again? Minus 3 distributed across those 3 terms. So that'll be minus 3x squared. Notice I'm lining things up now. Plus 9x minus 15. I put a little line here indicating we're going to combine this together now. 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 19x minus 15. Let's see if we got it right. Look at the key. 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 19x minus 15. All right, let's put number 4 down. And again, number 4 might look strange to you. I'm hoping it's not so strange you can't do it. It's 2 plus 3x minus x squared, 2x minus 1. Well, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to commute it. And the reason I like to have these small guys up front, so the binomial is smaller than the trinomial. Well, let's go through the multiplication. 2x times 2 is 4x. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times minus x squared is minus 2x cubed. All right, let's keep going. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. Minus 1 times 3x is minus 3x. Notice what I did there? I didn't write it horizontally. I put it next to the guy I want to put it next to, which is like term. Right, so I did minus 1 times 2, minus 1 times 3x, and now minus 1 times minus x squared. Well, that would be plus x squared. I put my line here, and I'm going to write it down for you. What do you get? X plus 7x squared minus 2x cubed minus 2. There's nothing wrong with the way this is written. Some people want to write it in order, though. You don't have to. Let me write it in order for you. Minus 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus x minus 2. Let's look at the answer key. What's the answer key say? Well, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. And I'm seeing that. All right, let's keep going. Oops. We're on number 5 now. And what is it? It's x plus 1 times x minus 1. Well, again, I'm not going to put the arrows in. I'm just going to multiply it. What's x times x? X squared minus x plus x minus 1. Let me explain what I did over here. X times x is x squared. X times minus 1 is minus x. Then I took this 1 times x is x, 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. You would expect it now to add terms together. What would you get? X squared minus 1. Right, I know this is the beginning, but we want you to look at that and realize that that probably is a pretty simple problem to do. You may not be there yet, but you want to get there. The other thing you want to start to realize is that we need to go back and forth in both directions. All right. So if we go in this direction, I'm just going to simply say we multiplied it out. We multiplied. If we go in this direction, we're going to call it factor. Right now, don't worry about this. What you're worried about, can you multiply? That's what they're asking you to do. Let's go to problem number 6. What's number 6? I'll write it down for you. It's 3x minus 1 and it's x plus 4. With practice, you'll get better at this. 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times 4, 12x. I'm using the distributive property of multiplication. Now I'm going to take minus 1 and distribute across those two terms. That would give me minus x minus 4. Before I move forward, I want to explain to you what I did again. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 4 is 12x. Minus 1 times x is minus x. Minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. Let's add things together. What do you get? 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. Put a box in this. Okay. The claim about this one over here, it's really the first and the last terms that are going to be really easy to write down. It's the middle term that causes people to struggle with. But the first is going to be 3x squared. The last term's got to be minus 4. It's the middle term I'm struggling with. How'd I do it? In steps. Let's look at our answer key, see how we did. And what does it say? 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. All right, let's go to the next one. They're really not going to be much more difficult than this. And we're on number 7 now, right? And what's number 7? 2x squared minus 3, 4x minus 7. Well, again, my claim is really easy to do the first term. What's that going to be? 8x cubed. It's really easy to do the last term. It's going to be plus 21. It's this guy in here that students struggle with. All right, let me erase that. And you may want to remember I just wrote those down, but bottom line is I want to go through the work. All right, so I'm going to make some erasures, but I want to convince you the first and last term are going to be really easy. It's the middle guy people struggle with. Let's go through it. Again, distributive property multiplication. 2x squared times 4x is 8x cubed. 2x squared times minus 7 is minus 14x squared. Minus 3 times 4x is minus 12x. And minus 3 times minus 7 is plus 21. All right. First term I was pretty much convinced of. Last term was. The middle term's a little tough for me. Let's see if we got it right, though. And again, as I'm looking at these guys over here, I think I made a mistake. And I did. I copied the wrong problem. I got to erase that now. And the reason I'm looking at my answer key has nothing to do with what I just written down there. So I made a mistake. I copied wrong. And I don't want you to blow this off saying, oh, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. All right. The wrong guy. Got to fess up to it. Go back and copy it again. Number 7, right? So what is it going to be? Whoops, sorry about that. 2x minus 3 and 4x minus 7. Well, let's write this down. Again, I know the first term's got to be 8x squared. I know the last term's got to be 21. So what do you have here? Distributive property. 2x times 4x, 8x squared. 2x times minus 7, minus 14x. Minus 3 times 4x is minus 12x. And minus 3 times minus 7 is plus 21. Let me repeat what we've done over here. Took the 2x times 4x, that's 8x squared. I took the 2x times minus 7, that's minus 14x. I took the minus 3 times 4x, which is minus 12x. And I took the minus 3 times minus 7 and got 21. What am I going to do now? Well, it's the middle term I'm struggling with now. What's it going to be? Minus 14 minus 12, which is minus 26x. It's important you start to realize this. The first term, super easy to get, 2x times 4x. The last term, super easy to get, minus 3 times minus 7. It's the middle term people struggle with. With practice, you're not going to struggle. Let's go to number 8. What's number 8? I'll write it down for you. An awful lot of students don't do any work in this, and they write the wrong answer down, and then it gets graded wrong. I'm going to go through it with you, though. It's 5x plus 2y. I'm really not interested in bad answers. I want to get the good answer. I want to do that multiplication. And what do you get? 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times 2y is 10xy. 2y times 5x is 10xy. I put things in alphabetical order, by the way. Plus 2y times 2y is 4y squared. Let me tell you what I did here. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times 2y is 10xy. Then I did this 2y times these two terms. 2y times 5x, 10xy. 2y times 2y, 4y squared. What am I left to do now? Add like terms. 25x squared, the two middle guys, which is so typical, combined together to be 20xy plus 4y squared. I want to be honest with you. In time, you might be able to do that without doing any writing whatsoever, except by putting the answer down. That's up to you, though. Don't know what practice you put in. Let's see if we got it right, though. So I'm looking at it. Looks fine. 25x squared plus 20xy, 4y squared. Looks great. Let's go to number 9. And again, I'm not saying you can't do these quickly. I'm just saying if you do it quickly and you do it incorrectly, that's not a benefit to anyone. I'm going to write this down for you. 2x minus 3 squared minus 2x plus 3 squared. Well, let me write this down for you. 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3 minus 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. Well, I got to do the multiplications. And it's going to be 4x squared minus 6x minus 6x plus 9. We'll do that later. What do you get this side over here? 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 9. I want to emphasize what we've done. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times minus 3 is minus 6x. Then I take minus 3 and distribute it across these two terms. You'd get minus 6x plus 9. What do we do over here? 2x times 2x, 4x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. Then we take the 3. 3 times 2 is 6x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Let's keep going. Again, if you're fast with it, that's great. If you're taking your time, that's great too. Okay, keep going. I'm going to move the grouping symbols now. That's a trinomial degree 2. Subtract a trinomial degree 2. All right, let's look at it, see if we can do it. Well, I kind of like notice things right away. These things disappear. All right, 4x squared minus 4x squared is nothing. 9 minus 9 is nothing. But now I'm looking at these two terms. And what do they give me? Minus 24x squared. 24x, I'm sorry. I'm daydreaming there. I did it again. I'm sorry. It's not. It's minus 24x. I really am daydreaming, which is not a good thing to say. Let's look at the key. I'm staring at it. I am done now. All right. I'm going to go to Sage. I'll be brief about it. And again, I want to emphasize here, Sage is not required. We're trying to introduce you guys to code, though. All right. A little bit at a time. Get your feet wet. Before you know it, you'll be coding. All right. So let me just get to the share. And we're here. We just finished the problem. All right. So again, related Sage code. We're not going to test you. Right? If you want to tune out and say, I'm not interested, you're not interested. All right. You don't have to be interested in this. I'm thinking if you want options in life, though, it might be a good option to have. Just interested in coding. I'm going to click on this again, this link over here. Remember, this stuff in the reddish color. This will bring me to the website. What website does it bring me to? If your machine's properly configured, it'll bring you to the sagemath.org website, and it's going to basically just bring you to the website. And say, what am I going to do with the website? Well, we've always been doing. Right. And again, there's a lot of stuff to read through there, but I'm not asking you to read through that stuff. I'm asking you to go over here. This is the low bar of using Sage, using it online. So let's do that. Click on that. You've seen me do this many, many times before. CoCalc is launching. You can see it says loading over here. All right. So what I'm going to do is, welcome to CoCalc. Yeah. Not a bad product. Start a project. Okay. Yeah, I think I want to start a project. It's starting now. It's loading up the system. Don't be discouraged if it takes some time. This is working off of somebody else's computer, not my computer, not your computer. What am I going to do over here? I like to do a new document. And so why do you want to do a new document? I just like a new clean sheet of paper. All right, so I'm going to do new. Unfortunately, what happens here, there's a lot of choices here. The only choice that we're going to deal with in this class over here is the Sage worksheet. All right. By the way, it's already named. Don't worry about the names. You can change it if you want. I'm just going to open up the worksheet. And I'm going to start typing this stuff in. All right. So reset. Remember, shift, return. Otherwise, it's not going to execute the command. X is a variable. This is very typical in computer science. If you type it in incorrectly, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to break the machine. What do you get over here? Well, I hit shift return. Really, nothing happened. Here's what happened now. Now Sage has been reset, and it believes X is a variable now. Next thing I want to do is expand. So it says, what's expand? They're going to actually multiply it out, right? Just like we use in the notes. What do I expand? X minus 2. The star must be used. It's a symbol of multiplication for Sage. 3 star X squared minus 5 star X plus 1. All right. And then I'm going to execute the command. If I make a mistake, I'll know I made a mistake. But now it returns a result to me. So what I want to do is I want to go back on the notes, and I want to see if I see a problem like this. I want to go back. So I want to do, go backwards and see if I see that. Maybe I won't see it. Who knows? Maybe it was never written down. I'm looking for X minus 2 times something, right? No, I'm going to keep scrolling back, don't I? Maybe I'll never see it. Ooh, it's this one here. X minus 2 times 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. Well, what did I say the answer was? I said the answer was 3x cubed. I see that in the Sage code now, minus 11x squared plus 11x minus 2. What I want to try to do is I want to try to do a problem that a lot of students would struggle with. All right, let me go back over the notes, and I think I'm kind of ready for this. I'm going to do number 9. All right, and I'm going to try to remember, expand. And what do I got? I have 2x minus 3. I'm just typing. Squared minus, whoops, I made a mistake, didn't I? It can't be 2x. It has to be 2 star x minus 3. Minus 2x, right? Plus 3. That whole thing squared. Let's see what happens. And again, if I mistype, misunderstand, we'll see what happens. Shift, return. It says minus 24x. Now someone says that machine did it really quickly. It does. It really is quickly. I want to introduce an error into the problem now, and I'll show you what happens. Get rid of that star. Shift, return. Look what happens. It gives me a message here, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of students look at that, they're totally frightened by it. It does tell you what the error is, though. All right, so what I'm going to do over here is correct the error, but if you've read it, it says you need a star for multiplication. All right, put it in. Oops. Minus 24x. Not bad. All right. Here's the deal, though. You're not going to get to the stage of using a computer unless you can do simple things by hand. I would not expect a computer to do this thing by hand, but if I had something far more difficult to do, I certainly would like a computer to do it. All right. Certainly would like that. All right. So I'm going to call it quits, and hopefully this has been helpful.